Hello everyone, welcome back to our sequel session. So like in our last session we have covered about the different type of joins that are available in SQL and how we can implement it. So there we see we already got to know how we can join two tables at a time. But what if there are more than two tables at a time? How to handle those situations, how we can do that, right? So those things we will be covering in our today's session. So here on the screen, you can see that I am ready with a database. Again, I have a new set of table with me. And this is just because so that you can also have this. So I have arranged some queries from the help of which we will be having a good data set with us to understand, to implement things, and to be more clear about the join things. Okay, so here on top, you can see that I have created a database already, which is named as student database, and I have used the command use student database. So right now, so far, these two query I have already executed. Now moving forward, you can see that here this is my first table. Create table student, and in this student table, I want to have student ID, the name, BR ID, email, and city ID. Here BR stands for branch ID. Okay. So first of all, I will create my first table. So this way we will be revisiting and revising also how we are creating the data and how we are inserting the data. So like how we are creating the table and how we are inserting the data into it. Okay. So this is my create query and now I'm going to execute this one. So my table student is now ready. And now my second step is that I want to insert the data. So previously you have seen that whenever I am inserting the data, what I'm doing is after adding my table name. So insert into table name, telling about the fields that where I want to add the data. So instead of telling that, I am directly adding the values. So we can go with any of these approach. Now you will say that when we are able to do it, like we can add without adding those values, then why we were adding it earlier? Okay, so the answer is suppose that at some times we will be having values for all the three columns, right? But at some points we may have data for two columns and not having some data for third column. So if we don't tell them that okay fine, these are the three columns where you need to insert the data, what it will do, it will give me an error. If I will be adding only two column values, I will be required to put the third value. That is the reason I was adding those. So to make it more clear, we will be having a separate session over it where I'll see you what will be the difference while adding this, showing those values, like what are the values that I need over there in my table, and the way that we are using right now. Okay, so now I will be inserting my table, inserting the values into my table. So till here, so these are some of the records where I am having student ID, student name, branch ID, email ID, and city ID. Okay, and now I'll execute this. So now this is done. Now moving to the next one, branch table. Again, I will execute this query. And now you can see it ran successfully. And again, I will be inserting the values into this branch table. And then this one, the third table that we have, address table. Okay. And here I am inserting my values again. So after the three tables are ready with us, one is student table, second is address table, and third is branch table. Now, there is a requirement where I have to get the data out of these three tables. So, like here we can see that we have address detail, we have the address detail, we have the detail of the branch, okay, and again we have the detail of students. So the student who are working, who are studying in which branch, and also their addresses we are defining. So now I want to join these three tables in order to get a combination of data. What am I supposed to do? So it is very simple. all I'll have to do is, first of all, I will have to see the key. I told you now that there should be a key that will help us to connect, bring up a connection between these two tables. So here on the top, the first one, student table. Here we have student ID, name, branch ID, email, city ID. Okay. Now, student ID is there, name is there, branch ID is there. So, we generally know that if there is any ID, it will be working as a key only. Okay. So, student ID, branch ID, and city ID. These are the three keys that we can use in order to get the connection between the second table from the second table. So, now moving downward. So here in branch table, what we can see, we are having only branch ID, which means if I want to bring up some connection between my table 1 and table 2, I should be using branch ID. This will be helping me to create a connection between those. So what I am going to do is I will write another query which will be like select star from student table. So again I will say select star from student. So after writing like select star from student, I will say that I want to apply a inner join. From which table I want to apply a inner join? I want to apply it from branch table. Okay. So I will be telling that you have to apply inner join with branch table. And after that, I will have to tell that on which particular column you should be applying this join. So I will say on student student dot br underscore id. I think this is the column name. Let me just double check. Br underscore id equals to branch dot br underscore id. Okay. And now I think this should work. So let's check. So now till this we are able to get all the informations or all the column that are in table 1 and table 2. And here you will say that there is no ambiguity problem here. Like we have not specified the whole path of that column, but still it is giving. So here we have said select star. So whenever we are going to apply star, so if there is a single table or there are more than a table and we are applying join or anything like that, unless there is any issue with any of the specific column, like there is some logical issue or anything, we will be getting all the columns from all the tables that are connected to each other or whether there is a single table. So select star will help us to see all the records, all the columns at a time. So now I have applied one thing. Now what I want to do is I want to apply another join with the third table. So this time what I have to do, I will say that after doing that, please again do a inner join for me. And here I will say that now this inner join should be on address table. Let me check. AWTREWS. Yeah. Yeah. So it's important to double check the spellings. So inner join address. And I will again say that on it should be, now what will be the joining key over here. So let's check what are the common keys here in address table. For this I should remove this first. And going little above. So address is having city ID and my branch is also having city ID. Sorry, not the branch one, but the parent table that I'm using, the student table. So here we have student ID, branch ID, city ID. Okay, so which means I can use city ID column to apply join. So I will say on student dot city ID equals to address dot student ID. Sorry, city ID. Okay, so now what will happen if I will apply the query? I will run this query. So till contact we can see this. So I'll run it. Oh, there is some issue. Create database student. So I think it has not got selected. Yeah, so now we have selected this again, and let me run this. And after selecting this, you can see that we are getting all the information from all the three tables. So we are not writing the whole query again. What we are doing is we have already applied a inner join between the two tables. Okay, and now without creating or rewriting this query, I'm just adding here only in a that. Let me explain this query. So I am saying that select all the columns that are there in student table. Also, please do a join between student table and branch table. And now give me the result of all the columns that are here. Show me all the columns that are here in student table after joining the branch table. So basically what happens is, let me explain you again with a container example. So suppose I have three glasses with me. Okay, so I have glass 1, I have glass 2 and glass 3. Now my glass 1 is not completely filled, but there is water into it. So what I can do is, there is in my second glass I am having milk. Okay, so it is also half. Now I want to apply a join. So what is the common thing here? Both are in liquid state. Okay. So what I can do is I can mix it up. So since the glass A is, I'll be considering as my parent table. Okay. So what will happen? I will be taking my glass B and putting the milk into glass 1. So this way I will be having water and milk mixed together. So all those information, all the data in table A and table B is now there in glass 1 only. Now I have space in my glass 1, and now again I got one more glass. So what I will be doing? Shall I apply join to glass B? Will it be worth doing, or glass A will be worth doing? So definitely it will be worth to join the data from table 1, the parent table, because it will be having all the data from table 1 and table 2. So again, when I have some other thing in my glass third, which is again going to be in a liquid state, which is going to get mixed into it. So what I will do is, again, suppose there is water into it in the glass third. So now again, if I will be putting my water into glass 1, it will get mixed, and now glass A will have information of all the three glasses. Similarly, it will work in class in case of when we are joining the tables. So now you can see that we have all the records, all the information in student table only. So basically, student table is applying join with branch table, and then this student table, when once got joined with branch table, again it is applying a join with address table with a different key using over here, and it is returning us all the data that is there in all the three tables. Now suppose I want to apply any specific filter condition to it. Can I do that? Yes, I can do that. So suppose I only want to see the records for city Mumbai. So what I will say, I will apply a condition where city equals to Mumbai. Okay. And now I will run. So as per me, there should be only a single record coming. So because we have only one data for Mumbai. So let me run this and let's check. Correct. So now we are getting the data. So in this way, where when we are applying joins and we want to get some limited data out of the whole data that we have, so all those things we can achieve here in SQL by applying the where condition properly, using the joins when and where needed. So according to our understanding, like where we need inner join, where we should be using left join, where we should be using right join, it is like it is very important to understand this concept. In this way only, whenever we work with a real time project, so there will be scenarios where you will be having multiple tables with you. You will have to understand that which table should be my parent table, and what type of join I should be applying in order to get the data that is needed for me. Thanks for watching this session.